You know, after more than 25 years working as a relationship counselor here in Singapore, I've heard the same belief repeated to me countless times. Men have stronger sexual desires than women, so men must take the lead lah. And you know what? Every time I hear this, I just shake my head, because this belief right here, this very idea that so many of you gentlemen over 50 still hold on to, is actually one of the biggest barriers preventing you from experiencing truly deep, meaningful intimacy with your partner. Let me be very clear with you today. Passion isn't something you force or demand. It's not about being aggressive or taking charge like some kind of alpha male, you know. True passion comes from something much more subtle, much more powerful. It comes from understanding, from being attentive, from creating a space where your partner's desire awakens naturally from within. Real attraction isn't about you pushing yourself onto someone. It's about becoming the kind of person your partner naturally wants to draw closer to, someone they want to touch, someone they want to know more deeply. Today, I'm not going to give you some cheap tricks or physical techniques. No. What I want to share with you comes from my 25 years of clinical experience, from countless couples I've worked with, from scientific research on human psychology. I want to talk about how you can transform your relationship with your partner in the second half of your life into something richer, more moving, more connected than you ever imagined possible. And I must warn you, some of what I share today might completely overturn everything you've believed about being a man, about masculinity, about relationships. But if you're willing to listen with an open mind, what you learn today could change everything. Let me start with something that causes problems for so many couples. I call it the 10-minute gap. You see, research shows us something really interesting about how men and women experience arousal differently. Generally speaking, men reach physical excitement relatively quickly, but for women, the process is completely different. A woman's heart and body need emotional safety first. They need to feel that spiritual connection before their desire can slowly, deeply open up. Studies tell us this difference takes about 10 minutes on average. Now here's where most men get it wrong. They treat these 10 minutes like some kind of obligatory warm-up exercise, like doing stretches before a workout, you know, just something to get through quickly before the main event. But let me tell you something, and I really need you to understand this. These 10 minutes aren't preparation. These 10 minutes are the main event. These 10 minutes determine the entire quality of your connection. If you rush through this time, if you treat it carelessly, you're basically telling your partner, I don't really care about you as a person. I only want your body. Can you imagine how lonely that makes someone feel? How disconnected? I had a patient, Mr. Tan, came to see me about 2 years ago, 58 years old, married 32 years, good man, successful career, provided well for his family. But he sat in my office looking so lost, telling me, Dr. Ong, I don't understand. My wife doesn't seem interested anymore. We barely touch each other these days. So I asked him to describe their typical intimate moments. And you know what he told me? He'd come home, they'd get ready for bed, and within minutes he'd try to initiate. No conversation, no eye contact, no real connection, just straight to the physical part. And he wondered why his wife had become distant. So let me teach you what I taught Mr. Tan. These 10 minutes, they need to be filled with what I call 5-sense communication. Let me break this down for you step by step. First, we start with your eyes. When you look at your partner, what kind of gaze are you giving them? Is it hungry, demanding, focused only on what you want? That kind of look makes people uncomfortable, makes them put up walls. Instead, I want you to practice giving a gentle, warm gaze. Look into their eyes like you're genuinely curious about who they are, like you want to understand their feelings. This kind of eye contact sends a powerful message. I'm interested in your heart. I won't hurt you. You're safe with me. You see, the human brain has these things called mirror neurons. Very fascinating, actually. These neurons reflect what we see in others back into our own experience. So when you smile gently at your partner, their brain automatically mirrors that, and they start to feel relaxed too. Their guard comes down. Try this. Look at your partner, smile softly, maybe gently touch their cheek. Let your noses almost touch. These small gestures activate those mirror neurons and create emotional sharing between you both. And here's the important part. Don't rush the kiss. Just let your lips relax, stay close, and wait for their response. That quiet moment isn't tension, it's anticipation. It's beautiful. It tells your partner, I'm a safe harbor for you. You can trust me completely. Next comes touch, but not just any kind of touch, I've had men tell me they tried being romantic by grabbing or groping, thinking that shows passion. No la, that's not passion. That's just clumsy. When you touch your partner, imagine you're touching a precious piece of art at the National Museum. Gentle, respectful, appreciative. Let your fingertips move slowly. Let your palms' warmth transfer to their skin. This isn't just physical contact. This is your hands speaking a language that says, you are precious to me. I cherish you. Start slowly, casually, so your partner doesn't feel pressured. As they relax, let your fingers follow the natural curves of their body. Don't stay in one spot, but don't rush either. Move like water flowing, from fingertips to shoulders, from back to waist, creating a graceful rhythm. This gradually awakens sensation throughout their entire body, bringing their awareness into the present moment. When you're kissing, gently hold their waist or shoulders. After the kiss, let your hands drift to their legs, their thighs. This flowing pattern builds anticipation slowly, naturally. Now, I need to talk about something many people don't realize how powerful it is, hearing and smell. These two senses are incredibly primitive, incredibly powerful. They bypass our thinking brain and go straight to our emotional centers, to our limbic system. Women especially tend to have very sensitive hearing. So the words you choose during these moments, they can either be your greatest asset or your biggest mistake. Don't talk about unrelated things. Don't bring up tomorrow's meeting or some problem at work that just kills the mood completely. What works is speaking softly, almost whispering near their ear. Keep it simple and genuine. You're so beautiful tonight. I've been wanting to be close to you all day. Words like these make your partner feel truly special, deeply valued. They create emotional immersion. But you know what? Sometimes words aren't even necessary. A gentle smile, a warm gaze, just being present together, breathing in sync with each other, that's already beautiful communication. In that quiet space, feeling each other's breath, each other's presence, that's intimacy in its purest form. Let me pause here and ask you something. Think about the last time you really looked into your partner's eyes, not just a glance while talking about bills or schedules, but really looked. When was that? If you can't remember, that tells you something important right there. Okay, once you've built that emotional foundation, you can move into more sensitive areas, but still with that same care and attention. Let me talk about touching hair. Hair is surprisingly sensitive, Think about how nice it feels when you get your hair washed at the salon. Being touched there by someone you trust creates deep feelings of safety and being cared for. Slide your fingers gently into your partner's hair, from the scalp down to the neck, stroking softly. This does more than just feel nice physically. It's almost meditative. It releases tension from deep within their body and mind. Now, if the hair is tied up or curled, then your fingers might get tangled. Don't panic and yank, okay? Just smoothly move your fingers to around their ear, gently tucking their hair behind their ear. Let your fingertips lightly brush their earlobe, trace the edge of their ear. These tiny, delicate touches send subtle waves of sensation. And more importantly, they show attention to detail. They communicate, I notice everything about you. I truly understand you. From there, you can kiss not just their lips, but also their jawline, their ears, their neck. These areas are extremely nerve-rich and sensitive. I read a survey once that found women rated the neck as one of their most sensitive body parts. Makes sense, right? Gently touching there or softly blowing warm breath on their neck creates maximum sensation with minimal movement. But be careful, don't suddenly blow hard into their ear or make things too wet. That just breaks the mood. Keep everything light, like you're touching them with a feather. That's the sophisticated adult approach. And when emotions have really peaked, sometimes a slightly bolder touch can open doors to unexpected sensations. I'm talking about gentle biting. Now, I don't mean causing pain, okay? This should never hurt. Just light enough that your partner gasps a little with surprise and pleasure. the earlobe, neck, lips. Nibble these with affection. I know it might sound a bit wild, but humans are naturally quite primal when we're with someone we love. Your desire gets expressed not just through fingers and lips, but sometimes through teeth too. Research shows that when women are emotionally ready, they respond to these sharper sensations just as much as gentle ones. It's a way of saying without words, I want all of you, you're completely mine. It creates that feeling of being truly desired. But here's where I need to tell you the most important part. Listen carefully, because this is where most men fail completely. Everything I've talked about so far, all these steps, you combine them together naturally, like a jazz musician improvising, mixing kisses, touches, whispers, gentle bites, all flowing together. And then you both reach that peak moment together. And what do most men do? They think, okay, done, mission accomplished, and they roll over and fall asleep. Let me tell you something. That moment when you think it's over, that's actually when the real test begins. That's when your relationship's future gets decided. After climax, men's bodies release a hormone called prolactin that makes you feel drowsy and emotionally subdued. It's biological, I get it. But women, they're still experiencing high levels of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Emotionally, they're at their most sensitive, most wanting connection and closeness. If you don't understand this difference, if you just turn your back and sleep or go silent, you're basically destroying all the beautiful connection you just created. You're making your partner feel used, lonely, wondering if they were just a tool for your pleasure. It's devastating. What you need to do is simple but crucial. Give warm physical affection and loving words. That was truly wonderful. Thank you. Being with you makes me feel so complete. Short phrases like this are enough. You're acknowledging how precious that shared time was. Hold them quietly, stroke their hair, share your warmth. This aftercare period is what makes your partner think, I want to experience this again with this person. I feel so safe, so loved. When you get these right, your partner will naturally open their heart to you. They'll look forward to intimacy. You won't need to pursue or convince. The connection builds itself. I remember Mr. Tan came back to see me after 3 months. He looked like a different man. He told me, Dr. Ong, I never knew. I was so focused on the act itself, I completely ignored the before and after. Now my wife and I, we spend time just talking, just being close, and everything else follows naturally. Our whole relationship feels new again. He was 58 years old, married 32 years, and he told me it felt like falling in love again. That's the power of understanding these principles. Now, let me expand this a bit beyond just intimate relationships, because really, these principles about respect, attention, and emotional intelligence apply to all our interactions as we get older. Getting older shouldn't just be about counting birthdays. It should be about growing in wisdom, in emotional depth, in becoming a more mature human being. Unfortunately, I see many people who've aged chronologically but remained emotionally immature. Your words carry weight now. When you're a senior, when you have experience and age behind you, your words hit harder than they did when you were young. If you use that weight to encourage and praise people, you light up their lives. But if you use it to criticize, to complain, to bring up old grievances, you leave scars that don't heal easily. I've seen this at family gatherings, at kopitiam catch-ups with old friends. Someone brings up 30-year-old grudges, starts criticizing people who aren't even there to defend themselves. What for? Time should wash away bitterness and teach us forgiveness and understanding, not ferment old anger into vintage resentment. People naturally drift away from those who carry so much negativity. And then there's showing off, bragging about your children's success, your property values going up, your latest purchase. You think you're just sharing, but you're really seeking validation through making others feel inferior. Truly wealthy people don't flaunt. They share their abundance through generosity, through quiet help given to those who need it. Your character isn't shown by what you own, but by how you use what you have. Sometimes people will say rude or immature things to you. You don't need to fight back emotionally. A mature adult's power isn't in arguing or putting people down. It's in having the wisdom to disarm them with a single sentence like, I see. In your view, perhaps that's true. You're not agreeing, but you're clearly drawing a boundary. Or you're always right, of course. Sounds agreeable, but actually says this conversation is over. Or you realize you're the only one enjoying this story, right? that coldly points out how their attempt to get laughs at someone else's expense is just making everyone uncomfortable. These are the marks of dignity and maturity, and dignity in all areas of life, including how you treat your partner, how you speak to others, how you carry yourself. This all contributes to your overall well-being, which brings me to something I always recommend to my patients for supporting overall health. For the past 15 years, I've maintained a very simple habit. Every morning, I have 2 cloves with my tea. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Dr. Ong, what does this have to do with relationships? But hear me out. Cloves contain a compound called eugenol that research has shown has powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. It strengthens immunity, aids digestion, supports oral health, even helps stabilize blood sugar. You see, everything's connected. When you feel good physically, when you have energy, when your body feels strong, you show up differently in your relationships. You have patience, you have presence, you're not too tired to connect. So I always tell my patients, take care of your body. It's the foundation that supports everything else. Just add a couple of cloves to your warm tea or use it as a spice in your cooking. Such a small habit, but it creates steady vitality from within. Living richly in the second half of life stands on 3 pillars. First, deep, fulfilling intimacy with your partner. Second, dignity and consideration in all your interactions with others. Third, a healthy, vital body that supports everything else. These 3 things work together. Aging isn't decay, it's refinement. It's cutting away what's unnecessary and polishing what's essential. Every small change you make in how you communicate, every habit you build for your health, these shape the months and years ahead into the most brilliant, most moving period of your entire life. Look, I know some of this might sound challenging or maybe even uncomfortable to hear, but I've worked with hundreds of couples over my 25 years in practice. I've seen marriages that seem dead come back to life. I've seen men in their 60s and 70s discover depths of connection they never experienced in their youth. It's never too late. You're never too old. The question is just whether you're willing to learn, willing to change, willing to become a better partner and a better person. So here's what I want you to do. Don't just watch this video and forget about it. Choose one thing I've shared today, just one. Maybe it's making more eye contact. Maybe it's slowing down and being more present. Maybe it's staying awake for 10 minutes after intimacy to hold your partner and talk. Start there. Try it for 1 week. See what happens. And if you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. Next week, I'll be talking about the 5 signs your partner is longing for a deeper connection and how to respond to them. Leave a comment below telling me what resonated with you today or what questions you still have. I read every comment and I'll do my best to respond. Remember, becoming a better partner isn't about performance or technique. It's about presence, understanding, and genuine care. That's what creates lasting intimacy. That's what builds a love that deepens with time rather than fading. And that's what I wish for all of you. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other. See you next time.